Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It's time to discuss Gwendolyn Brown's most explosive accusations. Sister Wives star Gwendolyn Brown is not a quiet and gentle woman. She is the daughter of Kody and Christine Brown, and she is renowned for calling out family members for transphobia, excessive spending, and a host of other issues. Similar to her estranged brother, Sister Wives Kody Brown, Gwendolyn has a feisty and occasionally blustery online persona. Blood is meant to be thicker than water, but she doesn't think twice about blaming family members. Every story has two sides to it. Anything someone says about another person doesn't necessarily have to be true. Nevertheless, Gwendolyn has given a lot of information that doesn't present a positive image. The issues facing the Brown family are severe if any of what she is claiming is accurate, which it may be. They may yet be. Kody, for instance, has been attempting to patch things up with his kids lately, but it's not an easy or quick process. The family has also been the subject of complaints from a number of Brown adults, including Robin Brown, Kody, and his ex-wives. Although Kody made it clear that Mary's alleged mistreatment of him and a few other Brown children was severe, Gwendolyn did not actually accuse Mary of abuse. In a YouTube conversation with blogger John Yates, he discussed his problems with Mary. Among his most scathing remarks was, despite without explicitly stating that Mary was physically violent, he suggested that her negative behaviors went way beyond verbal. Gwendolyn fanned the flames when questioned about Kody's comments. In response, she said when interacting with Patreon fans, all of the shadow never directly affected Mary. She posted cryptically about focusing on the positive people in her life and knowing whom to trust, but she remained silent. She probably made a wise move by responding obliquely. When confronted, Gwendolyn and Kody don't back down, and attempting to defend herself would unavoidably result in a great deal of drama. But given how serious the accusations are, it would have been wonderful to hear Mary's side of the story. In a famous tirade on her YouTube channel, Gwendolyn said that Kody was financially unmanageable and that he was spending very crazy. It is frequently alleged that he and Robin lead extravagant lives. Similar to their previous home in Flagstaff, which they sold for $1.9 million, they currently reside in a $2.1 million property with all the amenities. Robin's American Girl dolls, the complete collection is said to be worth $60K, Kody's Star Wars doll collection, and odd artwork were all crammed into that house. A statue of a woman who looks like Robin is one example. Thus, there may be some truth to the charges. Given that Robin and Kody both own expensive David Yurman jewelry and that Kody drives a Mercedes automobile, they may be major spenders. Because of his convictions, Kody offended Gwendolyn, who feels that he excludes other people. She wanted everyone to know that she didn't like him. She really unloaded, as can be seen below. She continued by calling him a homophobic and transphobic racist. It's clear that she thinks he's a terrible person. They may never be able to work out their differences. Gwendolyn, the star of Sister Wives, obviously has problems, and it's possible that growing up on television contributed to some of them. She may need to apologize to some of the people she has insulted, so maybe she can make amends with them. Families occasionally argue, but if at all feasible, it's preferable to patch things up. Too little time exists for such chaos. Sunday Sister Wives Season 19 One-on-One's fourth and last segment gave viewers one last look at Kody Brown, this time on his sexuality and premarital hookups. Sukanya Suki Krishnan, the show's host, let viewers rewatch Kody's confession regarding the sexual experience he claimed to have had in college, which he disclosed this season, and that only his ex-wife Mary Brown and his current wife Robin Brown were aware of. Kody said that there were other options that got close, but that there were no additional sexual experiences he was concealing when Suki confronted him about them after the video. When we believed Kody had gone too far, he went on to call his previous actions wild but Mormon naughty. What is meant by Mormon naughty? Kody said, "It means I would kiss and hug but no actual intercourse," when Suki questioned. In response, Suki used athletic jargon to discuss Kody's purported extramarital sex, making fun of the 18-year-old father's lack of home runs or touchdowns. Suki's jock jokes had Kody laugh at first, but he soon had second thoughts. He informed Suki, "You know, I'm going to stop talking to you about this out of respect for my wife." He went on, "You guys can act like it's the world's business all you want." Although Kody informed Suki that they had just crossed a line, so it's done, Suki claimed that they were just having some fun. After Robin and Christine Brown, Kody's ex-wife, offered their opinions, the conversation went back to Kody, who was once more questioned about his Mormon naughtiness. Kody answered, "No, we're not discussing my sexual orientation." "No, hurry up. That was going too far." Kody protested that was not a cool discussion, even though Suki reassured him that she was discussing his relationship with Robin rather than his sexuality. He went on, "I give a little bit here, and it's like I give an inch. It's like, well, let's dive into his life. And I'm giving." That didn't seem cool to me. Some viewers of the show speculated on social media after Sunday's broadcast about what Kody might have meant by sexuality. On the Sister Wives Facebook page, a fan wrote, "The way he frames this sexual experience, it sounds more like he was trying to come out to Robin and Mary. And then when Suki wasn't even going there, and he gets mad at her." Another individual commented, "Even though he brought it up, I felt he was swimming in that pool too, and then said it was too personal to discuss." Suki made a mistake on that one. Another person speculated, "Yep, why else did he get so defensive thinking Suki was talking about his sexuality?" In a January episode of Sister Wives, Kody revealed that he had a lover in college. There was a small tryst. Kody acknowledged that he lost his virginity to this lover and was quite unhappy with himself as a result. "I was a naughty boy, based on my faith," he stated. He remarked, "It was heartbreaking and devastating to me. In the church where I was, purity is paramount, so that was everything. It seems as though you have to earn it." This scene was immediately brought up by viewers of Sunday's program, who also noted that Kody was cautious at the time to avoid using the pronouns he or she while referring to this partner. Other remarks were made by people who brought up the sexuality rumors that were made public on Sister Wives years ago. They interviewed people in his hometown who knew him in high school and believed he was gay in the first or second season. One commenter said, "The remarks from high school were most likely a reference to a Sister Wives Season 3 episode where Kody and the whole Brown family visited some of Kody's childhood pals in Lavelle, Wyoming." April Smith, a former classmate of Kody's, revealed to viewers during the show that some people in their high school years believed Kody might have been gay. "We kind of thought he was gay, flamboyantly gay, when we were in high school," April remarked. "He simply had a very feminine side." She said, "He had this thing with his hair, like he would flip it around all the time like he still does, and he wore really tight pants." April continued by telling viewers that she was pretty sure that Kody is not gay. Later in the show, Kody refuted the accusations, telling viewers that he simply liked to be fashionable and that some people would even refer to him as metrosexual. In part 4 of the one-on-one interviews, Kody wasn't the only individual who talked candidly about their sexual lives. Janelle also talked about sex, which is one of the few occasions she has ever broached the subject in public. She informed viewers that, contrary to what Kody occasionally implied, she is a very sexual being, off-camera, and is not asexual. She declared, "I'll just say that I'm a Taurus and very earth mama. Everything earthy, including wine, food, and sex." See a preview of Sunday's show below. Sister Wives Season 19 ended with a shocking revelation. Robin Brown is still alive and well, more prominent, more confident, and more unrepentant than ever after a season characterized by dysfunction, divorce, and distance. Robin has quietly emerged as the final wife and possibly the one who received all she desired, while Mary, Christine, and Janelle are establishing new lives after Kody. What started out as a difficult time for Kody and Robin has now changed into a new reality in which she is no longer hiding her part in the disintegration of the family. Robin eventually acknowledged that she has always been Kody's preference during the Sister Wives Tell-All, Part 3. This was the main tension of the program for years since Kody's excessive focus on Robin's needs and demands made his first 3 spouses feel ignored. Robin acknowledged in the first few episodes of Sister Wives Season 19 that she was having trouble being faithful to one partner. The reality star claims that she wanted the ex-wives to reconcile with Kody so that they could once again be a cohesive team. But when that failed to materialize, she began to feel trapped in her marriage. All of her prior claims, however, were disproved during the tell-all when she admitted that she was, in fact, given preferential treatment over her former colleagues. Robin acknowledged to host Sukanya Krishnan that she uses the baggage rack to store her items when she and Kody travel together. However, Kody would take the rack and Janelle and Christine's baggage would be left on the floor when they traveled with their shared spouse. The ex-sister wives claim that because Kody was primarily concerned with his personal comfort, they felt extremely insulted during these times. But the fact that he acted differently toward Robin was a clear indication of his prejudice. Fans couldn't help but notice Robin's arrogant expression during the exchange. She made matters worse by downplaying the sentiments of her former sister spouses and asserting that it wasn't a significant issue. Robin hasn't communicated with any of her former sister wives or their kids since their multiple family disintegrated, which further demonstrates that this was all an effort to evade attention. Robin isn't attempting to hide the fact that she was always happy with the poisonous dynamic now that she knows things won't return to as they were. Robin's ambition to be Kody's primary wife had been accomplished long before the divorces, as soon as Kody began putting her happiness ahead of his other families. Robin no longer needs to act as though she doesn't know anything about it. The couple appears to be very content together in a May 2025 Facebook post that features them in Idaho Falls. Not to mention the couple's current residence, which is worth $2.1 million. Following the sale of their Flagstaff, California, house in late 2024, the reality stars made the significant acquisition. They were said to have been forced to sell their house due to financial difficulties. They appear to be leading a rather good life, though, given that they earned a big profit on it and quickly acquired their current residence. They later bought their new 7,884 square foot home with 6 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms, which was a significant boost after selling their previous residence for $1,775,000, according to In Touch. It's possible that Kody has fewer financial responsibilities now than he did in the past because he solely appears to be providing for his and Robin's family. In a Sister Wives Season 19 episode, Janelle talked candidly about the family's financial situation and disclosed that Kody frequently took money out of the family without notifying anyone. Although Janelle acknowledged that she was only the bookkeeper and that Kody had complete control, Kody wanted to present her as the one in charge of the family's finances. Due to Kody's poor financial management, Janelle and Mary battled for their rightful portion of Coyote Pass land, while Robin was found to have spent a significant portion of their funds on her peculiar doll fetish. According to Ashley's Reality Roundup, the reality stars spent $60,000 on accessories and collectible dolls in 2024 alone. Despite all the difficulties the rest of the family has faced, Robin's odd interest has never exactly taken a back seat, as evidenced by the fact that the Etsy account that was purportedly hers is still active. Gwendolyn Brown, the outspoken daughter of Sister Wives stars Christine and Kody Brown, has never been one to sugarcoat her truth, but no one was prepared for the emotional bombshells she dropped when she began publicly sharing some of the darkest, most uncomfortable revelations about her childhood and her strained relationships with certain members of the Brown family, particularly Mary Brown, who became the focal point of a series of shocking allegations that shook the Sister Wives fandom to its core and reopened long-closed wounds that many hoped would remain buried. Over time, Gwendolyn evolved from the soft-spoken, quirky teen viewers met on TLC into a fierce, unfiltered truth-teller with a YouTube channel and a growing following who tuned in not just for her reactions to new episodes, but for the deeply personal confessions she laced into her commentary, some of which directly accused Mary of inappropriate behavior that was allegedly far more damaging than anything shown on camera, reigniting the long-held suspicion that there was always more darkness behind the scenes than TLC ever dared to show. The biggest spark came when Gwendolyn, during a reaction video to Season 17, bluntly accused Mary of being mean and scary when the kids were growing up, then elaborated by saying she was the only wife, outside of her mother Christine, that Gwendolyn actively feared as a child. An explosive statement that didn't just come off as childhood resentment but sounded eerily like a veiled reference to something much deeper and possibly traumatic. Fans immediately flooded the comments with concern, wondering if there was more to the story, and there was. Gwendolyn didn't shy away from the implications. In another segment, she mentioned that several siblings were allegedly affected by Mary's behavior and that her brothers in particular had experiences they were still working through. These statements align disturbingly well with a now infamous 2023 Instagram live featuring Paydon Brown, another of Christine's children, who directly stated that Mary was more than verbally abusive and that he hoped someday someone would call her out. While Gwendolyn never confirmed the specifics of what Paydon meant, the fact that both siblings made such similar, damning remarks added gravity to the situation and made fans question whether the family had quietly known about this for years but avoided addressing it on camera for the sake of protecting the show and the family's reputation. What makes Gwendolyn's accusations even more compelling is her willingness to critique not just Mary but other family members who enabled toxic dynamics under the guise of religious obedience or emotional unity. She has spoken candidly about how her father, Kody, failed to protect his children from harmful patterns, often turning a blind eye to behavior that made them feel unsafe or unloved. In one reaction video, Gwendolyn commented on Kody's clear favoritism toward Robin's children and his emotional detachment from her and her full siblings, calling it painful and incredibly obvious, not just on camera, but in everyday life. She also described moments where Robin inserted herself as the peacemaker but ultimately did little to bridge the gaps between the children or help Kody repair his fractured bonds with his older kids. But it's Mary who remains the most controversial figure in Gwendolyn's recollections. While Mary has publicly shared her own trauma, loneliness, and emotional isolation in the plural marriage, Gwendolyn has shown little sympathy, often pointing out that Mary's pain doesn't excuse how she treated others. "We were just kids," she once said bluntly. "Being upset about your marriage doesn't give you a right to be cruel to children." That single line became viral across social media, widely praised by fans as the most honest, devastating truth ever spoken by a brown child. And while Mary has remained relatively silent on Gwendolyn's accusations, posting vague inspirational quotes and cryptic captions about healing and truth-telling, she has never directly addressed or denied the claims. That silence has only fueled speculation, with fans demanding more accountability and wondering why TLC has continued to keep Mary on the show despite the swirling controversy. Gwendolyn, for her part, seems unmoved by the network's protectiveness, and many believe her brave decision to speak out has shifted the public narrative surrounding Mary, once viewed as the tragic first wife who was emotionally abandoned by Kody, now recast in some circles as someone whose alleged past behavior contributed to the dysfunction that ultimately tore the family apart. And it doesn't stop with Mary. Gwendolyn has also taken aim at her father, calling out his hypocrisy when it comes to love, fairness, and faith. She described how Kody often weaponized religion to justify his emotional neglect and how the family unity he constantly preached was nothing more than a control tactic designed to keep the wives and kids in line. She also accused him of rewriting history during confessionals and interviews, claiming he pretends to care only when cameras are on, another raw confession that made headlines and further damaged Kody's crumbling image. In another video, Gwendolyn addressed how she felt invisible as a queer child growing up in a conservative plural household where her identity was ignored at best and disrespected at worst. She said her coming out wasn't met with hostility, but also not with the warmth or celebration she craved. It was just silence. No questions. No hugs. Just silence, she revealed, her voice tinged with disappointment. That silence, she added, spoke volumes about which of her family members truly saw her and which ones only tolerated her when it was convenient. But perhaps the most heartbreaking element of Gwendolyn's exposés is the emotional undercurrent that runs beneath every revelation, not rage or vengeance, but the palpable sadness of a child who once believed in the family dream and is now left with fragmented memories and a burning need to heal. Her content isn't laced with malice. It's raw, thoughtful, and often sprinkled with humor, but always honest. And that honesty is resonating with fans, many of whom say that Gwendolyn is the first member of the Brown family who's told the full truth without PR filters or strategic storytelling. Her words have opened the floodgates for fans to reevaluate not just Mary, but the entire dynamic of the Brown household. How much was real, how much was performance, and how many voices, particularly the children's, were lost in the mix for the sake of preserving the illusion of a happy polygamist family. And while Mary continues to post filtered selfies and motivational mantras, the damage is done. The accusations are out there, and they're not going away. In fact, many fans now view Gwendolyn as the truth-bearer of the Brown family, a powerful voice standing in the rubble of a fractured legacy, shining a light on the pain behind the smiles, the silence behind the episodes, and the consequences of ignoring abuse, whether emotional, verbal, or something even darker. Her bravery in telling her story, no matter how uncomfortable or controversial, has given strength to countless viewers who see themselves in her struggle and has forced a long-overdue reckoning for one of reality TV's most famous families. The question remains, will Mary respond? Will the Browns finally address the truth behind the camera-ready chaos? Or will Gwendolyn be the only one bold enough to speak it, regardless of the fallout?